Welcome everyone to another episode of Two Men No Hope. My name is Dan. I'm super sweaty. My testicles is like fucking 2 pickled onions floating in a jar of pickle brine. That's what it's like. You know that big jar you get at the bar, where there's like 2 eggs always floating on their own. That's my testicles right now. In like a dive bar, yeah. That's my testicles right now, but they're in shorts. I'm here today, and I'm also drinking on the advice of Dr. Jamie because he says I'm allowed to drink while I'm taking antibiotics. So
it's a wives' tale, isn't it? It's a wives' tale.
So if I trail off or I get ridiculously loopy towards the end of this episode, thank you, Doctor.
No problem. I'm here any day. You'd get hold of me quicker than you get hold of your GP, I'll tell you that.
Actually, I did all right with the other day, but it's still doing like phone calls. So you have to ring them, and then they're like, the nurse goes, she judges what you've said to her, and then she's like, okay, I'll get the doctor to ring you, and then you've just got to wait. And then just wait for just a random phone call.
Did you have any power-hungry doctors, secretaries? What are they called? The little women that were always at the desk.
Oh, no, I didn't know. The nurse was quite weird, though. She would, like, how does she speak? She would go, like, hi, how can I help you today?
Almost like she was a fucking
having a stroke.
Service.
She was having a stroke while I was on the phone to her. And I'm like, hi, yeah, I'm having... Sorry, by the way, for anyone that hadn't realised, I've been ill for the last 7 days, something like that. If you should follow our Instagram because that's where we post all of our updates. So I missed a story last week. Sabine put up a post about me being ill, so I have been away, which is also why Monday we had such a great surprise episode from Jamie's brother. So we thank him for that and congratulations on the baby again. Which was really good news for the podcast as well, even though he's not related to the podcast. We'll throw that in.
Yeah, well, it's the third Two Men No Hope baby, really, that's involved. We've got Brian, Jim, and now Kieran.
Yeah.
3 babies.
So that's always good. So, yeah, I've been ill. So I rung them, and I was like, so I started off with chills and then sweating. I couldn't sleep the whole night, so I rung them up. And then that turned to, like, headaches, like pains in my back and my neck. Couldn't eat or anything like that. So I had to go down to the doctor. They took blood. I found out I had a viral infection and an inflamed liver. Now, I didn't know, because I'm not a scientist and I'm not intelligent, that your liver is what helps fight off infections. And mine wasn't working.
So you wasn't producing enough antibodies in your body?
So I was full on... So originally the doctor goes to me, we can't give you anything for a viral infection. You've just got to work it out of your system. And then he got my blood results back and he was like, we have to give you antibiotics. And I was like, okay, I'll go pick them up. By this point, so I've taken the antibiotics. So when people say to you, never trust a fart, I know what that means now.
Oh, God.
1 o'clock in the morning, Thursday night, I'll go to push out a fart, and it makes that noise where you know that ain't a fart. And I quickly fucking pinch it, fucking run to the bathroom. From 1 o'clock that night, 1 a.m., I was on the toilet every 20 minutes until 8 o'clock that evening. Everything I put in, a sip of water, it was like my insides didn't exist. It went from my mouth out of my arse. Jesus. I know that's horrible to say, but that's how sick I was, which is why I didn't come on the podcast. And then, like, obviously, hey, I'm still not completely right now. And my farts are still, I still don't trust them.
Are risky. Yeah.
I haven't done a fart on its own since last Tuesday. So, yeah, they're in my bad books until they can prove otherwise. So I'm here.
On that Thursday night, please tell me you was in the bed by yourself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No. 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 Sabina wasn't around. No, I was on my own.
I was about to say.
But I rung into work every fucking day. So stick that up your ass. Every day I rung in to give them updates, whether they wanted to hear it or not.
That's good.
I should have
Can't
just
say
got a
nothing
sick
then.
line for a week because I weren't ready to go back in,
No.
but I did it anyway. Yeah, no, Sabina waited until the Saturday night where I was, relatively okay, and she come and was a nurse and looked after me, and she made me this really good chicken because I didn't realise grapes that people give you grapes when you're sick. Never eat grapes when you got diarrhea because
Yeah, it's a diuretic. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't know that. So
Oh,
I
really?
asked mum to pick me up food, and she picked me up grapes, which is not her fault.
No.
And I was laying in bed eating grapes. I'm not going to tell
All you
you how
needed
it
to do is
feels
smoke
to.
some cigarettes and have a bit of coffee, and you would have been shitting everywhere.
No, so apparently bananas. I
Mm.
hate bananas, but it took me an hour to eat one banana, and that's supposed to absorb all the liquid, and that helped me deal with it. And then obviously it was supposed to be like chicken broth. So Sabina come over and she spent all evening in the kitchen making this soup for me, like full of chicken and stuff like that. And I had that,
A
and I
good
managed to
thing
keep
to have
going.
as well is like just like a dry chicken breast with white rice. It's the most tasteless thing in the world,
Mm.
but it sorts you out big time. I've had to do that a few times, especially after. Do you know back when I used to do the festivals, and I used to deliberately take fucking Imodiums to not go to the toilet during a festival, and when
It's
I'd come back, I'd be in a state.
it's funny. I was talking to Sabina about your Imodium addiction.
Yeah, I don't
That,
have it no more. I learnt my
that's
lesson.
the
I
closest
learnt my
you've
fucking
probably
lesson.
come to drug addiction. Is Imodium.
Oh man,
Fucking.
that was a
I
bad few. That was about 2 years I was doing that.
Yeah,
Fucking
yeah,
mental.
to get through work and stuff like that. And I remember when we had that bad trip we talk about coming up to Scotland
Mm.
with the guy's car wreck. We actually had to stop before his car broke down. We stopped for food, and you were like, "I need to go pick up some Imodium, otherwise I'm not gonna make this journey."
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
Yeah, we had to go get you some Imodium.
I did. Yeah, I used to do it on purpose. I used to deliberately like completely block myself up, like I was a fucking drain or something, and then be prepared for when it's all going to happen, like when the business starts. And when I look back at it now, I was like, what the fuck was I doing? Do you know what I mean? What it is now I realise I'm actually allergic to beer, and that is what was making me go to the toilet.
Yeah, I tell you, I don't miss it. Cider's just as good as beer. If anything, it's more refreshing, like when I'm sweating.
Mm.
But it's easier though when you go in and be like, just get a beer.
Yeah, when I was in Portugal, I was struggling with the beer big time, and I kept getting fruit ciders. But when you go into like some of the like chicken shacks and that, it's basically beer and wine.
Mm.
That's the only options you got, or soft drinks. But why would I drink a soft drink when I'm on holiday? So Jamie was going for the beer anyway.
Mental. So yeah, so that's what I've been up to, Jamie. What have you been doing?
Not much. I had obviously the birth of my nephew, so I went at the weekend. Went over. No, well, it feels like the weekend to me, but it was like the beginning of the week last week. I went over and saw the baby on the day of birth, the birthday. Um, pretty much worked the whole weekend. That was pretty much it. My hay fever's gone as anyone that's seen the visuals this episode. I just firstly apologise because I look like Splinter, the sensei that trained the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles right now. I look like half Chinese. I got my beard's all wispy. I look terrible, but my eyes are near on closed because I've got an eye infection from hay fever. So,
Pink
but that's
eye.
nothing compared to what Dan's gone through. So I'm not even going to complain about it.
Oh mate, seriously, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. I've never been that sick before. Never.
When you were saying the first things, I was just like, if that was me, I would have assumed COVID until you actually got your doctor's test. Because
Yeah.
obviously, that's all the COVID symptoms, isn't it?
I thought it was a flu, like the shivers.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, right now, when it's 24 degrees and you're sitting on the toilet bringing out water while wearing an hoodie, that's sickness right there. I should have taken a photo and put it up as a meme. You know what I mean? One of the hottest days in Scotland this so far, and I'm in an hoodie sitting on the toilet. Absolutely fucking mental.
I don't want to make you jealous, Dan, but what would have helped, what could have helped you over this past thing is I've now got aircon installed in my bedroom.
Oh, you finally got it.
Yeah.
Is it? Did you have to go through the wall? I can't remember if I asked you or not.
Yeah, so it's like an outside unit goes through the wall on the other side. It's just above my fence line. And then that goes up into my bedroom, and then I've got like a little black unit in the bedroom that turns on and off when you want it. It's fucking... It's so powerful that if I leave the door open, the whole upstairs is cool, isn't it?
That's what you want, man. I've lived with the fan on at the minute, 'cause I hate it. I was seeing you can get ones that you open the window and then you sort of seal off the window and the vent goes inside, so you don't.
Yeah,
have
that's
to
what
put
we were looking at initially, but we decided to go with this one instead. This one's a bit more expensive, but we decided just to do it.
See, I couldn't do that because on the side of my wall is a house, and then the other wall is a window, so I wouldn't even know where the vent would go.
You'd have to, I think you might have to do what we've done, because it would be it doesn't go up to the second story of the unit on the outside.
Right.
Only the wire does. So you could do that on one side, but it's a bit of an eyesore. If it wasn't on the side of my house, I'd be annoyed. If it was on the front of my house, I'd be pissed off.
They are quite fucking big, aren't they? And they start leaking and shit.
Yeah, hopefully if it starts leaking, I'm calling up Matey Boy who'd installed it, and he's coming back round. Tell you that for nothing.
Cowboy Builder Bob.
I had like a weird situation where the geezer was here for like 8 hours, yeah. And
did you offer him a cup of tea?
Charlotte did when he initially got there.
I was gonna say I always forget.
Yeah.
Be like, fuck.
This is why it got weird, because like Charlotte did when she showed him around the house and showed him where we wanted the unit and stuff, and I was keeping Rocco downstairs because obviously Rocco wants to be up in everyone's business. And I was down the stairs sitting with Rocco, and I'd been up late the night before, and this was at 8 in the morning, so I lasted till 9:30. Charlotte had gone to work. I turned on what's that movie called? Oh, Fast X, the new Fast and Furious. I was asleep within 15 minutes, yeah. I woke up at 12:30. Matey Boy's like, I'm going for lunch, yeah. I was like, okay. So then I went into investigation mode and like went and saw what he was up to. I went out and had a look while he was out, and then he walked in on me while I was upstairs with Rocco looking at the unit. And then I kind of like shimmied downstairs, and I was like, oh, I'll leave you to it, mate. And then I was like, do I offer him a tea? Do I offer him fucking water? And I thought, fuck it, I'll just sit there. And then when he left, he just left and didn't say nothing. And I was like, this is awkward.
That's fucking brilliant.
And I took Rocco on a walk, and Rocco was growling at the ladder as he walks past him. I was like, Rocco, just calm the fuck down.
Oh, I hate when Chewie does that. That reminds me of something, I can't remember if I mentioned on the podcast, but Jim was telling me about when he was a plumber. And he used to go around in Canada, like the, is it Orthodox Jews?
Oh, yeah.
And he said he was like, they used to offer you a cup of tea, like the women. They used to say, oh, would you like a tea or coffee? And then once you've drunk it and you gave the cup back, they would throw it in the bin.
No.
Yeah, because you're unclean. You're not like one of them. So they're not allowed to. And I was like, what? Like they would give you a paper cup? He goes, no, like a proper, like mug. They would just chuck it straight in the bin.
Oh man, that's fucked up.
I was like, that's so fucking disrespectful. And he goes, nah, because that's just, they do it to everyone. It's not just to us. And I'm like, yeah, but still, fucking hell. That's mental.
It is disrespectful. It's disrespectful if they've done it to a point where he's noticed as well.
Yeah, just in front of you, just bump.
Yeah.
I would have gone, do you not want that? I was like, that's a pretty nice mug. I'll just take it with me if you don't want it. I got no
Dan's
shame.
just driving around with 20 mugs for all the Orthodox Jews.
I ain't got no shame. Well, I'll put like their address on it and I'll come back with it and I'll be like, I've got your mug in case I need a cup of tea. Can you just put a tea bag in that?
She was like, I'm not touching that. I don't know where that's been. Unclean. Unclean.
It's like, all right, just get your sheet with a hole in it, love, and go upstairs. It's fine.
I have noticed when I've been in the airport with Orthodox Jews, they do strange things. Like when I was watching a couple when I was going, not this time around, but the time before I went to Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Charlotte, well, I got really annoyed because they were taking up all this time, innit? I thought he had a dead body in this bag, and it was just a bag of books. And it was like a big satchel of books, yeah. And he was carrying it around, and then he did a thing where he was handed a drink in the bar, and they wiped down the glasses.
Right.
And they weren't drinking alcohol, of course, but they were drinking like soft drinks and a coffee. And he was wiping down the glass, and I was like, what does he think, they got the lurgies or something? So that might be something along the same fucking lines.
Yeah. There's a comedian, I can't remember his name, who like basically takes the mick, but he explains everything as well. I have to find out what he is and let the listeners know, but it's all on YouTube. His name is Ari.
Yeah.
Ari Shafir.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does a special. It's on YouTube. It's called Jew, and it is incredibly funny, but it's also incredibly informative. Yeah. Like stuff that I had no idea. So even though he is taking the piss out of it, you actually do learn a little bit as well.
He's always on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, he's a funny fucking guy, man. When he first was on the internet, he was so fucking racist, it's unbelievable. Like taking his KKK outfit into the dry cleaners to get it washed.
Fucking hell.
And there was another one where he went to this Mexican that was selling fruit, and he bought some of the fruit, and then as he was walking away, he turned around and then started throwing his own fruit back at the guy. Like incredibly racist shit that the internet wouldn't allow anymore.
There was a point where he was going to get cancelled. I can't remember why. Something happened.
Well, I could think of a list of things of probably why no one wants to see him on the internet anymore. But he has survived. But yeah, Jew, it's so funny. Jim showed it to me while I was in Canada, and I've shown people since. Many people. Right. Let's get on with the emails, as I haven't done anything except sit on the toilet. Oh, my back's all sweaty.
Yeah, him, another comedian who Chuck does the video for on their podcast. You know, he says he does that other podcast as well as Tell Him Steve Dave.
Yeah.
Him, the comedian from that, and two other comedians go on the Joe Rogan show, and it's called like Save the Parks. It's like a little thing where they all get really drunk and fucked up and do mushrooms and shit.
All right.
They do like a special every now and then.
He was asking us about swearing. Do you find yourself not swearing in certain situations, and has it ever come as a problem?
Oh, yeah.
So he says, long time no speak. I've seen Jamie is away. While recording that must have been hard on you guys. No. We normally always try and sort ourselves out, so Jamie and me get like a break while he's away. So, you know, I suppose it is a little bit stressful, yeah. It depends how much.
I think we prepped well this time round. Like, before it's been stressful, isn't it?
Yeah, because you've gone. Remember, I'm away next week, Dan. And I'm like, what do you mean?
In a week.
Yeah. And I'm like, what? Yeah, no, this time it was okay. We do have a calendar, a work calendar, that I fill in every now and again, but it never happens. So, no, it's fine. Also, I have a question for you guys. I'm planning a beach wedding, and I have a lot of people who are expecting me to pay for them to fly and stay out there. I'm slightly confused with it. Do you think I should pay for anyone? And if I do, who? Thanks very much. Cheeky fuckers.
Yeah, cheeky fuckers.
Yeah.
I think if anyone that you should pay for, it would be your parents if they can't afford it.
Yeah, or
Other than that,
grandparents.
everyone can fuck themselves.
Yeah, yeah. Like I would pay if like my granddad was still alive. He wouldn't need it, but I would try and pay for him if I had to do it.
Yeah.
But then like friends and that, no.
The way I would see it is I would say if it was me, and because this is probably what I would do if I was to get married now instead of doing what I did. I would go and say I'm getting married in Corfu or something. I would say to you, I would say to Kieran, I would say to all the rest of my mates, this is the hotel we're staying at. This is how much the prices are. This is how much the flights are. Ceremonies at this time. See you there.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't expect any other input other than suits. I would sort out the suits. That would probably be about it.
Yeah.
Or whatever you do with the equivalent of suits on the beach.
Yeah. Even like certain family members, like it should be parents. If your parents can afford it, maybe you help out your parents, pay for like your brothers or sisters if there's a lot of them, and then grandparents, aunties and uncles and cousins and things like that. Sort out your fucking self. You know what I mean? It'd be nice to have you there.
Yeah.
But it's not important if you're not. The homeless guy on the beach will get paid $20 to be a fucking what do they call it? A ring bearer. Yeah, either way, come if you like. You know what I mean? But no, yeah, I agree. I think I would like that. I think I'd much prefer because I haven't got a lot of money anyway. And to me, yeah, like you say, it's like I could say I'm going out there for a week, like because it could be my honeymoon as well. You only need, you can come out for a week if you want, but I'm fucking off. So, but the ceremony's on Saturday, Sunday, so you don't have to book any time off work. And then I'm going to go off Monday to Friday for my honeymoon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which is the way it should be, and that's the way everyone that I've known that has done beach weddings have done it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know anyone that's I don't know anyone that's got the money unless you're a millionaire to pay for every fucker to come out. It's not going to happen, is it?
That is a money thing, though, isn't it? Like that's like, my parents have got loads of money, and we want to have a beach wedding, so my parents are flying all my mates out.
If you want to show off a bit or something.
Yeah. Because that's what they're supposed to. Who's supposed to pay? I can't remember the groom's parents.
Nah, the bride's parents.
Bride's parents.
Traditionally, anyway.
But like, fuck that. Not a chance, mate. Not a chance.
Now I know how expensive weddings are. I wouldn't expect anyone to pay anything.
No.
I would literally be like, this is where I'm going to be. If you can't make it, I'll do a separate hall party maybe when I get back.
A hall party? That's proper common, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to book out a hall, and then you can come and get pissed.
Because that's essentially what a lot of people go to weddings for, isn't it? The reception.
Yeah, you go to a wedding reception, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you go to a fucking pub that you've hired out the back and get wrecked.
Yeah.
Pretty much. What I mean? Yeah, no, I don't know if I could do a beach wedding. Like, my nuts are sweaty already. I'd be like the only person there with like arseless chaps to let the cold in. I mean, I would telling the photographer, I'd be like, no back shots. I'd be like, I'll be watching you. All from the front, please.
You'll be getting arrested for indecent exposure mid-ceremony.
See my fucking arse hair fluttering in the wind. Although I suppose a beach wedding would be the only acceptable time to wear shorts to get married in.
Yeah, a lot of people wear like the linen suits with like short trousers, shorts instead of trousers, like a linen colour, like a light linen colour in it.
I suppose that'd be alright. I could do that. I'd say at work today I was absolutely fucking dying. I thought I was going to pass out.
Tell you what, I wouldn't be able to wear on the beach a kilt.
What?
That is so fucking hot because the kilt material is so thick. It's like wearing
and heavy.
Bath mat.
So more like a rug.
A rug, yeah.
That'd be so funny. I would like, I'd be like, oh, Jamie, I'm getting married in Hawaii. Come out with Charlotte, and then I'd be like, you have to wear a kilt. and then I wouldn't wear one. Just you
I'll
standing
be
there.
standing there sweating. I'll go and pick up a fucking pair of shorts out of them cheap little Tic Tac shops. Do you know what I mean? I'll be like, mate, have you got any shorts that are light?
Just see you sitting there with like your skirt up, your kilt's up, fucking airing it out. Yeah, I hope that helped. No, don't fucking pay for anyone. I mean, it'd be nice for them to be there on your day, but that's up to them. As long as you've got your family there, that's all that matters.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. I've been waiting for a while to write, but never got round to it. I saw Jamie is on holiday, sunning it up. Man, these fucking... We're
Well,
up to
his
date,
email
but
was
it
a
feels
long
like...
time ago.
Yeah, I know. I'm away later this year during the school break, but I'm overweight guy who hates being in photos. And I was wondering how you guys get on with photos, as you're both not confident guys when it comes to that type of thing. Have we said that?
No, I suppose we betray ourselves as not confident in ourselves. Maybe.
I fucking hate being in photos.
So do I.
I absolutely fucking hate it.
The selfie, for me, is a strong friend of mine. And if anyone tries to take group photos, I will always offer to take a selfie with the people behind me. And that way your gut's hidden. You don't have to worry about your gut. You're in control of the situation. That's what I would do.
Jamie always pulls this face. If you want to go back through our Instagram at any photos of Jamie pulls this face. And there's actually one photo of Charlotte trying to poke him in the face to get rid of it. When we were in Birmingham, that's well funny.
What it is, Dan, is my normal face, yeah? If I'm
Right.
not smiling or pulling this face, I look like a fucking slug. So I cannot
You look
be...
a bouncer. It'd be like the four of us, and then someone would be like, "Why is that bouncer just photobombed that group of people there?"
Do you know what happened to me? I forgot to tell you. It must have happened last year, right at the beginning of this podcast. Talking of bouncers, I was standing outside the pub near me. It's called the Marchment.
Right.
I was standing outside there with the guy that I go to cinema with, who's a cop, and like Charlotte's best friend's husband. We were standing outside. This was when I was still smoking, and we was just standing outside the front of the thing, and three girls come up to me and handed their ID to me.
There you go. You should have been pulling the face, Jamie.
Wearing like black jackets, just standing at the door.
Did you just play it off? You were like, nah, yeah.
I was like, no, I don't
sorry,
work
love.
here. I should have been like, nah, you're not coming in.
Yeah.
That would
I'd
have
be
been
like,
hilarious.
what age is this? This is terrible. This isn't even real. This is fake. Get the fuck out of here.
I remember him laughing his head off. He was like, I'm the one that's a cop. And I was like, I've clearly got this fucking resting bitch face. That's what it is.
I love my resting bitch face. This is something I've been fighting for ages, years and years and years. I've been fighting like the photo thing. It didn't really hit me until my granddad passed away, and we were going through all his stuff, and there was just hundreds of photos. Like you could every year there was photos of him. Like you knew exactly what he looked like, and it made me realise that there's a gap in my entire life that I'll never be able to show my kids or show anyone. Like
That's true.
my entire 20s is completely gone, and I've nothing to show for it. I went on holiday and I've been stuff like that, but because I refuse to be in photos, there's no proof of any of that.
Yeah, it's true, because looking back on our friendship, I don't think there's many photos of me and you together.
No. So when we started doing the podcast and things like that, and I always say it every year about how I try and get to more photos and that, but especially with the podcast and with like Sabina and things as well, if she ever wants a photo taken now, I just do it. You can look like an idiot and you can not like the way you look and things like that, but it's your life. And I tell you right now that in a few years, if you don't take those photos, it's gone. That's it. You know what I mean? I wish I'd just gone and done it.
In a way, Facebook's good for that as well, because like it's happened to me a few times where I've totally forgotten that I've put a shitload of pictures up from like a holiday about 10 years ago with Charlotte,
Yeah.
and then it comes up on your memory thing on Facebook, and I'm like, oh fuck, forgot about that, and then like you end up going back through it all, so the photos are still there online. How
That's
long
the
that
thing,
will last,
isn't
I
it?
don't know.
Well, it's that, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'd say to anyone listening, if you don't like being in photos and stuff like that, they're for you. Yeah, I mean, you may not like the way you look and stuff like that, but they're your memories and they're ways to look back on things. And you never know. You'll obviously you will look completely different when you grow older. But it's always something to look back on, and I regret it every day. I regret it. Like I look around my house, and I've got like photos now of like when I went to Canada and stuff like that. And I think to myself, I wish I'd done this
Earlier.
yeah, like a long, long time ago. Especially I've got all my granddad's photos. I would never get rid of them. But I think that's a real thing, an issue at the minute, is that a lot of people in the world don't like the way they look, and they refuse to take photos. And it is uncomfortable when you, because I always have this thing where like I could get up and I could feel amazing, and I'm strutting around my house, and I for the one time in like a week I felt good about myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'll take a selfie of myself. And I'm like, that's it. And I've just ruined myself like the whole day. I'm like, that looked like a piece of shit. Fuck that. But you just got to do it. Like, it doesn't matter. It's your photo. And it's only because you're looking at it that you don't like it. Loads of people might like it. Look at the people on the internet, for fuck's sake. Like, some of them people you think to yourself, you should put that camera down. Like, don't.
One advice I would give is do not trust your mother on whether you look good in a photo or not. Because everyone's mother thinks that you look good in a photo. And sometimes she's like, this photo turned out really well. And then I see her post it online. I'm like, take that fucking down. Take that down.
I screen everything my mum posts about me. I said this to Sabina. Like, every year she tries to put up with this photo of me with a mullet when I was a kid.
Oh, God.
And I make sure that everything she puts my name to, I get the last say of whether it goes up online or not.
That's brilliant. I wish my mum was that fucking tactful.
Yeah.
Charlotte's mum is famous for putting bad photos of you up. Absolutely famous. Charlotte had her birthday not long ago, and I don't even remember this photo being taken from like 5 years ago in Portugal when I'm obliterated. Charlotte's obliterated in this restaurant. Absolutely sunburnt to fuck. Both like paralytic drunk, and she took the picture just above our heads while we're sitting down at a restaurant. So I just looked like a fucking snail sitting in the fucking chair. And I was like, what was your mum doing putting that up? She was like, I've already told her to take it down. I've already told her to take it down.
Brilliant.
But no, I agree. Like, life's too short. Vet the pictures. Like, put the ones you like up. Keep the ones that you don't like, but just have them around. And I think it's a way, as you said, I think it's a way to appreciate yourself as well.
Yeah.
In a few years' time.
I think sometimes I look at photos and that, and I think the reason I don't like looking at them is because I don't really know what I look like in a weird sort of way.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I take a photo and I'm like, if it's a good one, I'm like, oh, I look all right. You know what I mean? But I don't take enough and like see enough selfies and things like that to be like, it's a form of like, it's obviously it's uncomfortable, but it's what's the word? You're not familiar with it. It's not something you normally do, which is why it feels so uncomfortable. Is why it's so unfamiliar.
Yeah.
No,
when you're like looking at yourself in the mirror, you're kind of looking at the one angle of yourself all the time.
Yeah.
And like you've got that face that you pull in the mirror to yourself, so you never get a real reflection of what you look like. Do you know what helps me? Really, like, humbles me sometimes on a Tuesday afternoon when I'm thinking I'm looking good. Yeah, is I'll edit a TikTok and look at the state of me while I'm doing some of these episodes. I'll be like, fuck it, why am I pulling that face for? And stuff like that. When you're talking, I like look, a lot of people don't see it because I edit it out, but I'm like looking around the whole room. I'm like, what is he doing?
That's all right. Don't take any notice, Jamie. It's okay. I'll let you have it. But like some people will do like a therapy thing where like every day they take at least like one photo of themselves. They don't post it or anything like that. But you can do like get up and like take a photo of you when you wake up, take a photo of you after you have dinner, like just get into that habit of seeing photos of yourself.
Yeah.
Just to make it feel more comfortable when you're doing it.
Help.
Yeah. There's loads of different ways to do it. But just have fun with it. That's what photos are there for. They're there to capture like the funny moments and things like that. Not always having to be. It's not like Barney from How I Met Your Mother. Do you know that reference, Jamie, or was that over your head?
It took me a minute to cut it on, but I did.
Yeah, for the listeners, if you didn't see How I Met Your Mother, Barney, what's his name in real life?
Oh God, that's a question.
He's got like a 3-barrel, isn't it?
I'll quickly Google it while you're saying.
Yeah, he every time they took a photo of him, he cannot take a bad photo, even if he's fallen over drunk or anything. As soon as they take a photo, he's like perfectly made up. It's actually ridiculous. I'm trying to think of it before you find it.
Neil Patrick
Harris, that's it. Yeah. So you know, people do look silly in their photos, so just have fun with it, and hold on to them. Later on, you'll appreciate them more when you're older, and you don't give a shit when you're older. That's something like you hold on to them for years, and then you'll look back and you'll be like, "Oh, that was funny." You won't even think about what you look like.
Oh no, of course not. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm trying to do TikToks to try and get myself out my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Even if they're not very good.
I still can't pull that off.
Yeah, it is hard, man, to try and like accept being an idiot and like because you're filming it yourself. It's like no. Power to all those people out there. Even doing the toast wrong was so uncomfortable. And that toast was so shit. Anyone that saw the TikTok of me putting the jam on before the butter, I did that on purpose, by the way, and never do it because it was shit. That ruined that piece of toast.
Shark talked about that for about 3 days.
That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to wind people up, and it didn't go as far as I was wanted to, but I'll try again. I'll find something else. Anyway, he said he was going on holiday, didn't he?
You should put some pineapple on a fucking pizza, Dan.
Oh, yeah, because that people fucking go, wouldn't it? But enjoy your time away in school break anyway, and let us know how it goes. Pineapple on a pizza, like that's fucking strange.
That will get people going.
No, it would not.
Yes, it will, because there's fucking 85% of the audience hates it.
No, they don't. Fucking, I was gonna do what do they call it? Like a loads of videos of different things I can put pineapple on just to annoy you, and have it all over our TikTok.
Be doing it everything on anything savoury, just throwing a bit of pineapple at it. Doesn't make it taste nice, Dan.
A Hawaiian burger is amazing.
Yeah, rapist food.
I found you on TikTok. Absolutely hilarious, lads. Be proud of what you have built this year. I hope it keeps going on the up, and it does indeed. We are now over 18,000 listeners, so that's pretty good.
Mad. It's gone mad.
I've had a few problems with Neighbours recently. They've been moving my cameras on my property as they think it's looking on their property. The council or the police won't do anything as the manual moving of the cameras. The council or the police won't do anything as the manual moving of the cameras has broken a few of the arms from them. I try not to get confrontational about things, but I feel like they're trespassing and damaging my belongings. Am I overthinking this, lads? Do give you honest as always. I actually Googled this about are you allowed to have cameras on your property within like this I did within the UK. I don't know if this person is or not. And it said that you are, as long as you're not looking into anyone else's like property, like houses or anything like that, then you're well within your right. And if someone comes onto your property and moves or damages it, then you're well in your right to call the police and have them come out. So the fact that the police won't do anything about it says more about them.
Yeah, I spoke to someone that I know that's like deals with like the council side of stuff about this, and they said that because it's classed as a domestic occurrence or a domestic incident, the police tend to ignore them until it actually gets like physical between the people, which is not the way that I thought it would go. I thought they would be pretty swift on like if you go on that land again, you're gonna be trespassing.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently not.
I'll be like fucking pressing charges. The only thing I think it was like what I would do, because I have a Ring doorbell, a Google doorbell, and it looks over to the people behind me. Obviously, I couldn't see anything, but if any of them had a complaint or anything like that, the only thing I would do is like I'd show them what the camera could see.
Yeah.
And I'd say to them, look, this is what I can see. If I could move it, would you like to move it? Because that's what they're worried about, the unknown, right?
Yeah, they're
So if
worried
you
about whether you're watching them in the house.
So if you physically show them what they can, like, look, this is what the camera's pointed at. It can't
Hmm.
see anything that's going on within your house or your garden or anything like that. Then what have they got to complain about?
That's true. That might be a first step.
And then after that, it's like, I put my camera right into their fucking front window. I'm like, now I see fucking everything. Come and get it now, you fucking prick.
You can get that sticky anti-climb paint in it. Paint the fucking camera in that.
Oh, what, put the camera up higher, yeah, and put like loads of that paint all over the wall.
Yeah. If they try to get anywhere near it, they'll be covered in it.
Fucking
And that shit don't come off easy.
No, that's the point, isn't it?
Mm. Now
Shame you can't taser them. Put up a little
with my
exposed
neighbours,
wire.
I had a conversation about my cameras. They didn't ask like where it's pointing and stuff, but they was just like, "Oh, why did you decide to get cameras put in?" And I was just like, "Because we're on a semi-detached, being on the corner with the walkway behind us, it's like super dark at night unless the lights are on. So that was the reason I did it. And then like when I got the aircon unit put in, they were like, "Oh, we didn't realise it would be that low down, etc., etc." But they've never said anything negative. But if they did, like, I think the first protocol would be showing them, because like anyone that's got cameras nowadays, the app's on their phone. Like you just show them the app and just be like, "This is where they're looking."
Yeah.
It's not going on your house. People, only lunatics get arsy about it, I think.
Yeah, sometimes I watch have you ever seen that video of the guy that, and I half agree and half disagree, like they have a Ring doorbell and it's in one of those houses where you go down the driveway and it goes underneath a little walk bit and one side's one door and the other side's the other door.
Oh, yeah, so they directly face each other.
Yeah, so the camera's facing the other door and the guy's trying to get a fucking screwdriver to like pry it off. And I'm just laughing because he opens the fence and the fence falls off and hits him in the back of the head. And I'm like, there's karma for you. But then I agree with he may not want people looking at his door.
Mm.
But then I also think to myself, well, technically they're covering you in case you get broken into.
Yeah.
So you don't have to get yourself a camera. You just knock on their door and be like, "Oh, can I get a copy of that?" Like, what are you doing that is so dodgy that you don't want someone looking at your front door?
Drugs.
Well, he's got like men coming around. He's not ready to come out.
Yeah, something like that. Like on my road, obviously you know my situation on my road. I've got me and another house next to me, and I've got a parade of garages in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
I would say about 5 or 6 of the garages in front of me have cameras on them, because obviously there was no houses there originally, so that was all dark around the back.
Yeah.
So all these cameras on people's cars and stuff. And when there was a Uber driver that drove into one of the neighbours' cars a couple of months ago, and then like the guy's car, who it was, went round and asked everyone for the CCTV if there's CCTV, and then everyone just handed it over. So if anything, you're doing your utmost to protect the neighbours.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Everyone should have security cameras and stuff like that as a deterrent.
Yeah.
It'd be so much easier. Like, if someone went missing, can you imagine every house and every apartment had a camera?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, where did they go missing?
Crimes solved with doorbells.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could see what was going on straight away. But then you get these crazy people that are like, I don't want that camera pointing at me. It's like, but why? What does it matter? Because you don't want someone knowing when you come in home. You know what I mean? Oh, I popped down the shops and I bought myself some milk, but you don't know that. I could have bought anything.
No one cares about your milk, Teresa. Get the fuck in the house.
No one wants to see my single pot noodle and a bottle of Buckfast. That's my business.
That might be what it is. She might be like a secret alcoholic or something, trying to get the bottles of wine out, and you're watching her go past with 20 bottles of wine to the bottle bin.
Be like, love, I don't need the camera. I can hear you jingling down the fucking street.
I can hear you singing to fucking Lionel Richie at 3 a.m.
No, I think that's the problem with like the crazy people, right? Is you could ask, like, I would say, ask her what her problem is with the cameras, or he or she or whatever. And if they say to you, it's pointing on my side of the fence, show them, and then be like, there you go, it's not. Like, so is that okay now? And then if they're crazy, they'll think of something else.
Yeah.
And if not, they'll be like, oh, okay, that's all I wanted. And then you're done.
Some people are just mental. Like, if we think back on one of our other disputes with Neighbours on the podcast, where the neighbour was actively stealing sex toys off of the drive. Do you remember? There
was that the old woman?
Kids getting nicked by the old woman.
The old woman, yeah.
Like, some people just lost their minds. And
Yeah.
you just have to accept that you're living next to a nut job and just lock your doors at night.
I saw a video of this woman who gets a copper come to her door, and she's like, and he goes, oh, I've been reported that you've stolen your neighbour's parcel. And she's like, no, it's mine. And she showed him she didn't open it. She picked it up and showed it to him and showed the receipt, and she had everything like that. And he was like, oh, so it's yours? And she's like, yeah. And then the woman opens the door and she's like, that's her, she's got my fucking parcel.
What the fuck?
And he's like, calm down, I'll deal with you in a second. And then like turns around. I think, how fucking mental are you to call... You were going to steal that woman's parcel and then she took it in, so you called the police on her. Like, how do you think that was going to end?
Yeah, true. Do you know what? That probably is part of the problem with the police not paying this too much attention in this case as well. Like, they've got that many time wasters.
Yeah.
That are like wasting their time with these disputes over cameras and fucking... That they've probably got a policy, unless it's got serious, don't do anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just give fair warning. I think that's what the woman said that I spoke to about it. She said they get told to give fair warning, which could be anything. I've been given fair warning last week when I got pulled over in my car last week. I got given fair warning then.
What did you get pulled over for?
You tell me, Dan, because I still don't know. I thought it was because I had Rocco in the front with me, and I thought, is it illegal? When he's coming up to the car, I'm like, is it illegal to have a dog in the front, in his pouch, in his little fucking kangaroo pouch? And he didn't say nothing about Rocco. He just asked where I had got the car from, asked for my insurance details, and then he was like, off you go. I was like, okay.
Oh, mate, you look too rough to be driving that car. That's it. He thought you fucking nicked it.
Thought, and the Jack Russell next to me.
He's like, that poor dog's just been fucking kidnapped. It's okay.
I couldn't believe it. And it was like right after work, and I just wasn't in the mood to be dealing with him. And I was just thinking, even now, when I think on it, I'm just like, I've never been asked that many questions, and he didn't say anything about my driving or anything.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, speak to your neighbour. Whatever happens, now obviously you've got the camera, is just keep everything. Anytime that gets moved, anything like that, just hold on to it. Because if anything does go south, you know, that's the evidence you need.
Yeah.
But we hope you get sorted. And keep up those cameras. Don't fucking take them down. Right. So, happy Monday, not. Yeah, that's how I feel. Love the show. I like how you guys can make a difference with people as well as making it funny. Well, we give it a go if people laugh. How do you think about this? I've been set up by my colleague with her daughter, and we seem to get along great at first, but I'm starting to get psycho vibes as my colleague gets far too involved in our relationship. She's caused a few arguments. She even has discussed our sex life too, which is a bit much for me. What do you think? That reminds me of a guy we used to work with. Isn't he? He's still with her, isn't he? The Bible lady.
Bible lady.
I don't want to say her name in case it's gonna.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, he is still with her.
They've got a kid and stuff now, but he always used to moan about her getting involved and like talking.
She was very involved.
She was the one that had the death diary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's been to the GP more times in a week than I've been to in my life.
Fucking mental. So anyone that wouldn't know what a death diary was, she prayed for everyone, living or dead. So she had a journal of, a book of people that were alive that she prayed for, and then whoever had passed away, she put them in there to pray for them every year as well. I thought it was creepy, but
yeah, when my nan passed away, she put my nan in there.
Oh, she's been. I don't know if she put my granddad in there. I haven't spoke to her.
Maybe you have to get in contact, Dan. Just
I think.
Let her know.
I think they did know that my granddad passed away. I think my mum went in there.
So possibly, yeah. But yeah, I remember who you're talking about, and he was out on a few nights out with us, and he would say. I remember him saying to me and you, be like, "Oh, I don't even really like her that much anymore." Talking about talking about the girl, and he was like, and I think the mum's really getting in the way, and it happens a lot. Like we also worked with a guy who was like not put together by the mum, but it was all very close vicinity, and that got a little bit weird and awkward as well. So I don't know. I think sometimes when it's a little bit, it can work out. The great Uncle Joe from this podcast, that's how he met his wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was put together with my auntie through her mum. They were working together. So yeah, it can work out.
Yeah, I met a girl when I was working at the co-op that was on the girl that you told me about Snapchat, and I saved the photo, and she was like, "Did you just save that?" And I'm like, "What?" Yeah, she was a mate of a colleague I worked with, and that colleague actually fucked up for me because I really liked her, and the colleague was like, "Oh, you need to slow down, you need to do this." So I slowed down, and then the girl was like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Oh, nothing." And then she was like, "Oh, I don't think this is going to work out," stuff. And I was like, for fuck's sake, I was only following the fucking advice by that. Yeah, and she fucking ruined the whole fucking thing for me. So I agree with Jamie. It can work. It depends how involved you want to be with it. I personally would say it's not worth it because it's a lot of aggro, and especially if it doesn't work out or anything like that. Yeah, I mean,
I would struggle having an open conversation with Charlotte's mum about mine and Charlotte's sex life, and if that's a line that this listener doesn't want to cross either, then it might be worth just like making that line known that you don't want to go over.
Mm-hmm.
Do it as tactfully as you can, because I wouldn't know how to advise on that, but just be wary of it. If you want to make it work, then there is ways to do it, and I think being mature about it and just letting them know that you need to distance the relationship from the friendship with a colleague.
Yeah.
Eventually it will work itself out, I think.
That's what you need. You need that space. You can't be dating and then come to work and deal with it there as well. You never get a break from it.
Yeah, exactly.
You need that,
Yeah.
like, oh, when I'm at work, it's all about work, and I'm not talking about this or that or whatever.
Mm.
That's probably how to deal with it. I would
That's why
stick
me
not
and
like
Charlotte
something.
struggled when we were both working in the same place
Yeah, 'cause you get
because
no break.
that was all we talked about.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's right what we said. Like the boundaries is what needs to be set. It's just how about going and saying that is different, and it's hard. It's hard. You don't want to upset your colleague, and you don't want to upset your girlfriend, but at the same time, there needs to be, like I found in the relationship that I mentioned about where it was all very close knit, that he was not finding time for just him and his girlfriend. It was always he was at their family home all the time, so the mum was always involved.
Mhm.
Um, so I think possibly it might be good for them to have some alone time, even book a hotel room, separate themselves from the household. I don't know whether it's like that in this one, but it could be.
Yeah. Oh, I don't. I think if she knows about the sex life as well, I think that's the daughter is telling her that.
Oh yeah, so, some mother and daughter relationships are super close that way, isn't it?
Yeah. So even that's like yeah, it's all about what you're comfortable with. If that's their family dynamic, then you're not getting away from it.
Mm.
Yeah, it's all about what you're comfortable with. At the end of the day, you don't want to. I wouldn't stay with it just to have an easy life and keep her happy and everyone else happy, and you're
No,
having to put. You're always wasting your own time. Then, if this is something you're not, I mean, I would nip it in the butt.
nip it in the butt.
Yeah, and get yourself sorted. There is many more out there. May take a while to find it. Talk from experience. Right, so this is a previous listener. So this is a listener that messaged in and said about her ex had laid hands on her in the past, but he had reached out again because he'd
Oh
been
yeah,
seeing her, and we said, don't do it, don't,
do not go near him.
no. So she says, thank you for the advice and kind words. I'm now happily with someone new, and we are going through some good times now. And that is
Good.
why you stay away from the other one, because
Yeah.
otherwise you would have been stuck in a horrible fucking place because he wouldn't have changed.
No.
He is 23 years older than me, and my parents are weird around the subject as my dad is a year younger than him. How would you approach the subject? My parents don't talk about any confrontation, but they deliberately leave him out of the family dinners, etc., because they refer to him as my friend, so they forget. I appreciate the advice in the past, so please keep me anonymous again. Many thanks and chins up, lads. You're going to make it to the top. I believe in you both.
That's a difficult one because
It's different now, though, right? Like, I know that we're going through the whole Philip Schofield thing, but I mean, you got Al Pacino. We said in the last one, didn't we? We got Al Pacino
mm,
having a kid. Um, Leonardo DiCaprio, his partner, something like 27 years younger than him. Robert De Niro,
yeah,
Stephen Fry. Is it Stephen Fry?
Stephen Fry always went for superiorly younger people.
Sorry, it's a national treasure. It's fine. So I think nowadays it's getting a little bit more like the whole sex thing, right? It's like whoever you're attracted to, and if he treats you the way you want to be treated,
Yeah,
then I mean, I think the thing is more that your dad's a year younger.
yeah. If that was me, that would be what. If I was the dad, I would struggle with that more. Um, but the way that they should view it in the end is like if he's making her happy, then that's all they should be worrying about. And I think the excluding of him from the dinners and stuff is wrong in a way, but at the same time, it takes some people a while to get used to things. And I think that our listener, her job is, if she wants him to be included in the stuff, is to make sure when there's a family dinner on the books coming up, that she really instills it that he's coming, and saying, he's coming, this is who I'm with, I'm happy with him, etc., etc. Especially considering, well, I don't know if the parents would know about the previous relationship and what happened, but if they did, I'd be happy that my daughter's in a safe place.
Well, they don't know that yet, right? Because they haven't spent any time with him. So yeah, I agree that they're probably concerned that they don't want you to be in another situation like that.
Yeah.
But then they need to see the way
need to
you
give him a
guys are
chance.
together. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Yeah, they're only going to get used to him if he's going to be around.
And I think, like, obviously that is a huge age gap, but when it comes to the grand scheme of things, like, it's not going to matter. It won't matter. If they care enough for each other, it shouldn't matter.
See, the thing that I had in my head, because obviously I'm bored at work, and I was like, if this was my daughter, it's almost as if she's come home with you.
I never even thought about that side of it.
You know what I mean? Like, if I was the dad, and my daughter's come home and she's like, oh, I'm dating this guy, and he's like, well, I'm 35. Oh, he's 36. I'm like, what? What's his name? And she'd be like, oh, his name's blah, blah. And I was like, oh, blah, blah from science class that I was when I was fucking 12. I was like, that fucking guy. I was like, no, you can't bring him around my fucking house. What, you having a laugh? And she's like, but I love him.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, and I'm like, I've gone blind. I've gone blind. The rage has kicked in. I can't see. Be fucking killing. I don't think that is what he's thinking, but that just went through my head. I was sort of like, that's if you want to look at it from his perspective, that might be how he's feeling, right? Like, you've brought this guy back who he could have gone to school with.
Me and my brother the other day was joking about, like, I can get into such a blind rage over things that I said that I will black out and I'll wake up in court.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll wake up in court and I'm being charged for the crimes I committed and I don't even remember nothing. Do you know what I mean? And if there's a lot of people that if I went to school with them and my daughter brought home, then yeah, I'd be like, right, okay, I'll see you in court.
Yeah.
3 days later.
There's the other thing. I was just imagining you, and I was like, she's sitting on Jamie's lap, and she's like, morning, daddy. And I'm like, daddy? And I was having flashbacks.
I'm her daddy now.
Flashbacks of all the time she said daddy. I was like, you soiled it. You soiled those memories. I get up and fucking leave. I'd never forgive you, by the way. And I'd kill you both.
Oh, mate, that'd be fucking brilliant.
No, it fucking well wouldn't. I'm very protective over things that have come out of my nuts.
And I'll be like on my 3rd divorce, innit? With a ponytail at the age of like 55.
It's like that joke. Oh shit! Sorry, the joke for Louis C.K. when he's like, "Oh, my mate come round, and he's got this woman, and he's like, she's like fucking 18 or something, and he's in the kitchen, and he's drinking loads of milk, and he's like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm drinking loads of milk because I need to go all night. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, you know, it helps you produce more semen if you drink loads of milk. And he's like, I don't think that's how it goes.
I bet there is some fuckers that do that though.
Oh yeah, more than fucking likely. But no, jokes aside, if you finally found someone that treats you the way you're supposed to be treated after something like you've gone through, then stick it out. And like Jamie says, the only way they're going to get used to him is if you bring him round.
Yeah.
So don't do it in a horrible way. But then as well, you've always got one parent that is easier to win over than the other. So maybe like if it's your mum or it's your dad or something like that, probably your mum, go out for lunch with your mum and have him there.
Yeah.
And then have like a nice meal with them, and then she can go back to your dad, and then she lays the groundwork for you without him being there.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think touching on that as well, it could be you might think like it's one parent that would be easier, but they might be the one that has the strong feelings on it. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of play that field and try and see what would happen there. Because have you ever? Is it You People, the film that came out not long ago with Eddie Murphy and Jonah Hill?
Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't seen it, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, he's like a Jewish guy getting with a black girl, and they have this almost the same controversy from the parents not liking each other, saying the wrong things to each other about like slavery and shit like that. And then you think that it's one of the parents that are going to be the hard one to win over, but it's actually they're the easier one to win over.
Fucking hell. Might have to go look at that. Jonah Hill's gonna take a weird turn though. But yeah, no, I
Yes,
agree. But you know, it's nice to hear from you, and we're glad you're getting on better. And don't be a stranger. You know what I mean? If it works out, you know, just send us a message so we know what's going on. And but it'll work out. We know it will. And if not, just bring up Al Pacino and DiCaprio. You'll be right. Do not bring up Philip Schofield. That's not
No,
okay.
whatever you do, do not bring that up.
Bad times. Right, I'm from the US and I've recently discovered Stormzy as an artist from the UK, and I know you have mentioned him before on the podcast. Is there any other UK rap artist you would recommend to an American just discovering the genre? Keep up the good work on the pod. We all wait for your episodes every week. This one is going to be one for Jamie because I only really listen to what are the UK rappers I listen to? Big Heath,
Big Heath, yeah.
Dizzy Rascal.
Dizzy Rascal.
Who's that fella that did the song with Bossy? That's the name of the song, not the name of the artist.
Bosie.
Bossy.
What's his name? Wiley.
That's the one, yeah, Wiley. I like Wiley as well. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, you named like two of the big names in British UK hip hop, which is Wiley, Stormzy,
Dizzy
Dizzy
Rascal.
Rascal, like Wiley and Dizzy Rascal, Skepta and Kano and all of them lot. They were the guys that started the whole thing. Good people at the minute. I would say like Dave. Dave's really good. He's quite mainstream now, but he's still good. There's a guy called Central C. He's good. He's done quite a few songs over in America, so I would be surprised if the Americans don't know him. Who else am I listening to in UK hip hop?
What's the other one? H. Is it H?
Oh, H, yeah.
I always say that wrong because it's not spelt H.
No, it's spelled H because he's from Manchester, isn't he?
I always used to call him AH.
Huh?
AH?
H, yeah. AITCH.
TCH, yeah. AH.
Because his name's Harrison, so it's H.
That's how English I am. Like, I say things as they look.
Yeah, you got H. AJ Tracy's a really good one. So there's a few. They all go around in the same circle. So if you just YouTube some of them names I've put out there, and just go on to like suggested from there, you'll find quite a few. There's a song called I'm not sure what the actual song is called though. I think it's called Body, the remix. It's got a heady one. It's got about 5 or 6 of them guys on it.
I'm listening to Macklemore at the minute. That's not English, but that's what I'm listening
His
to.
new album's quite good, Macklemore.
It is, yeah. Ben, I've got it in transparent green vinyl.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For everyone that is out there, I collect vinyls. I'm waiting for my... The Hives have got a new album out. I've got it in glow in the dark and it's signed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. To see what you've been doing with your illness.
Oh, no, it's on pre-order, mate. I pre-order everything. It works out cheaper and you get all the best stuff.
Yeah, true.
So for that Ben, Macklemore's new album, not long after, I think we've been a couple months, me and Spina's dating, and she likes vinyls too.
Mm.
And I was sitting there and I was like, oh, green transparent. I was like, I can't really buy that, and then rub it in Sabina's face. So I had to buy two. And I got the
Ended up
one that's
buying
got
two
the
of them.
fucking chip in it. It's got like a little scratch.
That's annoying.
Yeah. In my good, like my expensive vinyl player, you can't tell. But I've got an older one that I use in the dining room for when I play board games and that won't skip over the top of it. I
What?
would
'Cause
never
it's
get
like
rid
an
of
older
it.
one.
Yeah, because the needle's not the same. I would never get rid of it, and it still works. But it's over
Yeah.
my favourite song, 1985. Is that the right song? I'm going to have to look that up, otherwise people are going to thingy me.
I've gone like, because I'm like massively into hip hop. I've gone really into like 90s hip hop, like all Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Tupac, DMX, all that type of stuff. Biggie. I've gone like back to
I
like
like Biggie.
the early fucking 2000s and 90s.
1984, sorry, it was called 1984. Yeah, I was listening to NWA.
Yeah, I've got that album.
Yeah, so I buy on vinyl. Not
Yeah,
a special
same.
vinyl, just black vinyl. Gotta love it. Yeah, let us know if you listen to any of them, if you enjoy it. If not, I'll just if you do, I'll make Jamie do a bigger list, and then I'll just sit here and he can reel off the names, and I'll just go, yeah, yeah, heard of that one, yeah.
A good guy to listen to as well, actually, just off the top of my head, is his name's JME. He is Skepta's younger brother, and he's brilliant. He's been around just as long as Skepta, and was like one of the pioneers for the grime industry. So he's really good. I always forget him because he's always doing obscure tracks.
I said about Big Heath. If you look up Fire in the Booth,
Yeah,
Big,
it's Fire and Beast, brilliant.
yeah, Big Heath, fucking quality.
He's lost all that weight, you know.
I know, and he said he wouldn't.
Mm.
Fucking hypocrite.
He's skinny now.
So this listener says, hi, you pair of buttes. I just wanted to let you guys know you've helped by proxy with some of the help you've given others on work issues, and I'm very grateful for it. That's what, I mean, that's what we always say to people. You don't have to email in, you just got to listen.
Yeah.
I have an issue that I'd like your kind opinions on. I'm about to move in with a group of friends. We have been planning this for 6 to 7 months, waiting on people to be at the right place. Now the ducks have lined up. We are settled. We are settling up, but it's not boarding well. Already there has been a furnished place we've moved into, and people aren't willing to split the costs of communal area items like the sofa, dining room table, etc. We have all got our own beds ready and plates and cutlery, but when it comes to our shared space, half of the group act like they can't afford it. What can you do? What do? I don't want to ruin friendships, but it seems like it's going to that way. P.S. The extra content is great. I gave the Ancient Apocalypse series a watch, and it's enjoyable. And Dan, I enjoyed the God stories, maybe go on to the Greek or Roman after this. I said, I think in the previous one, I'm trying to find a Greek book because I want to read about Poseidon and all that sort. So that's in the works. I've said before that I would never live with friends again. I've done it a couple of times, and I don't speak to either of them. I don't know. I said to you before, you don't know someone until you live with them.
Yeah.
Everyone could be the second guy I lived with. Everyone was like, "Oh, he's the nicest guy in the world," blah blah blah. But he's fucking horrible to live with.
I think a lot of it's down to as well, like your friendship has to be strong, because it's hard enough living with someone that you love, let alone living with a friend. And I think as a group of them, it might be fun.
It takes a strong will. We've had a woman. Was it a woman on here that was at uni? And she said about, didn't she? She was like, I live in a house share with uni people, and I feel like I'm the only one tidying up. And we said to her about talking to him, and she ended up just taking one of them and moving into a 2-bed.
Yeah, they did, and then there was some kind of issue with a boyfriend or something, wasn't there?
Oh yeah, I don't think they ever got back and told us about that.
But yeah, I think it's always a difficult thing. Like, I've never done it, so it's pretty much just like going off what I think I would be like, and I think I agree with Dan. I think it'd be difficult to maintain relationships with friends doing it. Obviously, the situation's at the point now where you already have to do it, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
What I would suggest at first, before people actually start putting real money in, is go to Facebook Marketplace and buy, or even just get a free sofa off of there. There's always ones on there for like 100 quid or for free, even for free. And just go as basic as possible until people start saying they're willing to put money in. Because you might find a few of these guys that are saying they can't afford it might drop out towards the end, and then you're left with the actual real guys left.
I think finding out where everyone is would be my go-to. I'd be like, okay, so if some people can't afford it, I was like, what can you afford? Like, not everyone. You don't have to buy a sofa. You don't have to buy like dining room table, but you need to contribute something because you will be using that space. That's only fair. So if you can't afford as much as everyone else, what can you afford, and work out from there?
Even if they're paying like the Netflix subscription or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as long as they're contributing something. And I agree with you as well. Like, I would never buy brand new stuff when you're moving into, like, it's just not worth it.
No,
because then when you leave, who's taking it?
that's true. And you got to think five. I'm assuming it's like 4 or 5 blokes in one place. It's most likely going to get trashed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it just says group of friends. Yeah, I would just go. Obviously, you want to have your own little style and stuff like that, but you want stuff that if it gets ruined or destroyed or anything like that, you're not going to be that bothered about. So get everyone together and say, like, what's an acceptable amount, and then go from there. If you got people that are willing to put a little bit more forward, then go for, like, oh, would you mind splitting for like the dining room table and like the stuff like that. But yeah, like, even like you said about the subscription and things like that, everyone can contribute a little bit, because if no one does anything and one person does one thing, that one person's going to resent everyone else.
Yeah. And if someone like does something to the dining room table when they haven't put any money in towards it, or something like that, don't put any money in at all, that will create like friction straight away or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I would say is IKEA and Facebook Marketplace are your friends right now.
Yeah.
Just keep scouring. Like, when I was moving out the flat, I sold a dining room table which was perfectly like functionable, no problems with it, just I needed it gone. I sold it for like 20 quid.
Fucking hell, that's a glass table.
Yeah, it was a big glass table, and I sold it with. I didn't sell the chairs with it, but 20 quid is fucking cheap. I bought that for like 200 quid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you will find the deals. Whether you have to go and pick them up in your car or whatever is a different matter, but they will be there. Not everything's trash on there. Don't get me wrong, there is some fucking trash on there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, because at the end of the day, I very much doubt this is going to be a permanent thing. Everyone's going to, like, move off and do your own things.
Everyone be gone.
Yeah, so you just need... And like you say, if you find 2 sofas that are completely different, just cover them in something. Put a blanket or something like that to match them up. It doesn't have to... You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter.
Or they could weirdly go.
Yeah, there's always ways around it. But just make sure that everyone has chipped in, because that's the main thing. You don't want, like Jamie says, if the table gets damaged, there's going to be some fucking ruffled feathers. But if everyone's chipped in a little bit and it's not particularly expensive, I mean, you're going to... the first house party is going to get shit wrecked.
Yeah. I remember getting drunk in your kitchen and it was me, you, and one of our other friends, and we were absolutely smashed doing weights in your kitchen, and we were smoking inside. Do you remember? And I remember I was on the bench like doing bench press with a cigarette in my mouth, and your roommate kept saying about not having people smoke inside, and he walked in just as I was doing it, and I had like a fag hanging out my mouth, and I was like, "Oh, you're right, mate," and I just carried on going in the kitchen, and he just like stepped over me and like poured a glass of water and went upstairs. I was like, "Fucking hell." Things like that are gonna happen.
We hated each other's friends. It's okay. Yeah, no, you'll work it out right at the beginning. It's the same with like a relationship, right? Right at the beginning, you've got to try and be amicable. Amicable. There's a word I couldn't really get out. And you got to think of like little ways around it. Once you've been there for a while, you can start being petty. But everyone has to pay their way. It's always nice to be like, oh, okay, if you can't afford it now, we'll get it later. But later never comes. So just say to them, you know, how much can you afford? What can you put forward? What can you bring in? And then you can be petty and be like, well, if you're not going to put anything forward, you can fucking go upstairs and... Because that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean... But don't buy anything brand new. I wouldn't buy anything brand new.
Not if I was going into a house share, no.
No. Especially because it's not brand new, when the house share ends, it just gets fucking binned.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You just get a skip.
Yeah, and get the fucking shit out of there. But hopefully it goes well. Hopefully, you know, the teething problems are only minimal and you get the house shit side. And if you're close to any of us, we're more than welcome to come to your housewarming. Send this invite.
Can you imagine? Me and you just rocking up.
I keep putting it out there, but we had one listener that said about meeting up, but Jamie was going to Portugal, and it was like a 6-hour drive for me, so that never happened.
Yeah.
But we appreciate it nonetheless. Right, last email. Brilliant show. I'm making my way through the show, and I'm enjoying the concept, and I'm really intrigued on how you guys have such a diverse listenership. But it's great. It's nice to see you a positive and funny podcast that converses with the listeners. Being diverse is just something that happened. We just try and be normal human beings that, you know, listen to everyone and try and do our best to keep everyone on the straight and narrow. Would it be on the straight and narrow?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. As straight and narrow as we can get.
That's fucking covered in vomit and shit and it's flying from No, we never exclude anyone. And if anyone takes the time to email in, whatever it is, we all treat you with respect. So it's just the way the world should be, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And I think I'm pretty strong in belief as well that because me and you are so honest on this, and we don't put on like a bravado of like, oh, because I'm a man, I'll do this and all this shit. I think that gets a listenership that we wasn't expecting at the beginning. We wasn't expecting to have so many female listeners writing in, and we've had like gay guys writing in, bisexual people writing in, all sorts. And
yeah,
it wasn't something that we deliberately sought after, but I think it's just the way with mine your attitudes are about things has kind of like left it open for everyone. Kind of what you just said.
Yeah, I always say to people that the one thing that everyone has in common is problems. Doesn't matter how old you are, how young, your sex, your colour. Everyone has the same problems as everyone else. I mean, we're happy to listen and help. That's the main thing.
Yeah, 100%.
So he says, I'm writing to ask you guys what I should do in this situation. I've been going through a training course which I paid $4,000 for, and I'm really not finding the time for it. I'm really not enjoying it either. I'm close to quitting, but I do not think I'll get my money back for it. Do I cut my losses or do I persevere? Oh, is that you write that?
4,000 is a lot of money.
That is a hell of a lot of money. Yeah. Is that
Yeah.
standard for a at home course?
I don't know. I know Kieran did an electrician's course that cost him over 2 grand, and that was with a, what was that called? Like a, where the government help you out.
Oh, like a fund, a government fund.
Yeah, they like paid a bit of it for him.
Mm.
So I suppose that might have worked out at like 4 grand ish in the end. But it's a lot of money. If you're really not enjoying it and it's affecting your happiness, worrying about it, then I would do my utmost to get some money back. Say if you're only a year into the course and it's a 3-year course, see if you can get some of them funds back. Very unlikely that you will. But if you can, try. And if not, that's kind of when you need to make the decision whether you're going to pursue it. Because there's no point in doing it, even though you spent the 4 grand, there's no point in doing the rest of the course if you're not going to do that as a career, what the course leads to.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I did that health and it was a bit different because I didn't have to pay because I was so young, but I did the health and social care course when I was younger. And by 6-7 weeks in, maybe even 2 months in, I knew that it wasn't for me. And then I started doing this thing that normal teenagers do where they stop turning up and
Yeah, you're not giving it your
fucking
100%.
way too much time high
Yeah.
when I was there and stuff like that. And that's the wrong way to do things. I think the right way to do it is just like make the decision. I think try and get your money back, and then that's when your decision needs to be made from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think if you're not gonna, I know how I would be if I've lost interest, then I'm only giving it like 20%. That you're giving it that I've sat down and I'm going through it attitude. There's only so many people that can sit down when they hate something and actually still do it. You could tell I'll just be fucking shit. Just fucking, I just thinking about it now. I don't even do it. I'm just like, I ain't got energy for this shit.
Well, think about life, Dan. Like, you're in a job that you don't necessarily want to do. Obviously, we work to live, not live to work. On top of that, you're doing a course which you're not enjoying anymore.
Yeah.
So you're going home from not enjoying your job to then doing a course you're not enjoying. What could be another possibility if this person does have an idea of what they do want to do outside of that? They could see if the same, however they've got their course, I don't know whether there's like an online college or something, however they got that course, could like transfer them into another like course, like a different type of course.
Oh, what, to save some of the money?
Yeah, and see if that will like interest them a bit more.
Yeah, it depends how
a lot of money to
involved
put
it
down
is.
on something that you don't end up enjoying.
Yeah, because I think you have to have some involvement with like a tutor, don't you? You don't just pay $4,000 and they're like, "Here's the paperwork. See you later."
Yeah, it's got to be some kind of like body to it.
Yeah. I think talking to them would probably be you need someone that's involved in the trade or whatever you've decided to go with.
Yeah.
You need their advice. I think that would be more beneficial than ours. Like knowing what jobs could come from it and what benefits it is to carry on.
Yeah.
Because
what options there are there? Because
yeah,
either way, they've got that $4,000, so they're going to be honest with you. But
yeah,
they should be honest with you.
I think as well. Like not like everything. People seem to think that like they'll go and get this course and then at the end of it, that's it. Where it's very little courses you do result in an immediate job. So you could be fighting through this because you've spent $4,000, and then that's just like the tip of it. Now you've got to go and do another course or another course, and you got to, you know what I mean? So you're not just $4,000 in, you're years in then.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, if I was to look back now, when I was doing my electrical course, when I was trying to become an electrician, um, there's 2 guys out of that class of 30 lads that are electricians. Everyone else has gone off and done other stuff.
Yeah.
Like it helps having that knowledge there for me, like because I do electrical testing and stuff. But a lot of the knowledge is just gone.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll come back if I try to do it, but it's gone. And like it's the same with a lot of the lads that did the same course. There's only 2 guys out of the whole 30 that stuck to it.
Canal.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty much what happens with everyone. Like, look at all them people that go to university. It's essentially a university degree on their CV, but they don't do anything to do with what that degree was.
No. So I thought you was going to put more than that. Yeah, no, yeah. So I think if you've got someone you're talking to and communicating with as like a professor or someone that's giving you advice, I would speak to them.
Yeah.
And if they say to you, look, this is just the start, you're going to have to do this, you're going to have to go here, you're going to have to do that, you're going to blah, 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 blah. It's different if it was like you're working with a company and they're like, if you put $4,000, we'll put the other $4,000 and you put you into college. And then once you've done that degree, you can come back and we'll promote you. That's a different thing because you've got a job lined up straight away at the beginning, end of it.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people go to apprenticeships and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're just doing this off your back to try and make yourself a better job, which is great, but if you're not enjoying it, yeah, like why would you go from a shit job to then something you're not enjoying to then finish it to then find a job that you know you're not going to enjoy because you've just done the training for it?
Yeah.
You know what I
It's a
mean?
lot to
So
deal with.
yeah, so it's definitely something to think of. The money, even though it's a lot, is very little to do with the decision, I think.
Yeah.
So speak to someone that's in the field, obviously it's helping with you, and then make a decision from there. Sometimes it's easier just to cut your losses and find something else. Or like Jamie says, maybe you can take the part that you haven't spent yet and maybe move it to a different course.
Yeah, I think that's most likely going to be the option that they would give you if you said to them, "Can I get money back?" They'll probably say you put it in another course.
Yeah. So I agree with that. I agree with that. And that's another 8 emails done, Jamie.
That's mad, isn't it?
I feel
Be
better.
thinking that we're doing it.
The listeners have healed me. I can now trust my farts.
That's all you needed is one episode of 2 men, and then
Yeah,
you're back to normal.
so I need the listeners. Everything is fixed.
So on that note, glad to have you back, Dan.
Thanks very much.
It feels like such a long time since I see your face. Because obviously we're so used to seeing each other so much now. It felt like a long time.
You wouldn't want to see me. I was just full of sweat.
When it comes... just before we were finishing off the episode, just wanted to say for Uncle Joe, hope you get well soon. We know you're going through it at the minute. Once you're well and ready, you're more than welcome to come onto the pod.
Yeah.
People are waiting. People are asking.
Yeah.
So
right.
It's going to happen soon.
It's going to be a good episode.
Kieran didn't even know that he was like a third partner of the fucking podcast.
What, Uncle Joe?
Yeah.
He should listen more then, shouldn't he?
Because I was like, there's an Uncle Joe, and now there's an Uncle Jamie. That's what I said. But yeah, as always, send us in any content ideas, any questions, any feedback for the show. Send it into 2mennohope@gmail.com. And I'll be seeing you on Monday, Dan.
Yeah, I'm going to go wash my balls. They're sweaty.
Nice way to end it for the listeners.
Take out that pickle brine. That's what's happening. My deviled eggs. All right, see you later, man.
See ya.